Many of you know that in my professional life, I'm a recruiter. And there's this trend that I keep hearing from candidates when I talk to them in that I thought was something I should bring to you, the audience, and hear what you have to say about it. And it's when I reach out to a candidate and they respond with, "No thanks, Joe. I'm never going to sell my soul again to another law firm, another CPA firm, another tech company." And that's usually enough for people. Hey, I'm not ever going to sell my soul to another company. And they think that ends the argument or the discussion. And I'm like, well, why not? Okay, so why not? And then I also think, and this is my logic and it's probably wrong, but I also think that's kind of an arrogant statement. I think it's an arrogant statement because it's like, how much is your soul worth? You're 24. How much is your soul worth at 24? Like, I'm kind of laughing while I'm talking about it, but in reality, I'm thinking, you have to earn your worth, I believe, and you don't just get to say, I've done a couple years, I'm not selling my soul anymore. It's like, well, what are you selling it for? What are you going to do? You gave me entrepreneur? That's great. I think you should. You will end up selling it for something. That's what I believe. So they're angry at their current situation, their current company, their current sector they're in. They're like, I got to get out of this. I'll never sell my soul again. And my question is, and this is more not even really philosophical. It's just people think that because they've been told that they're worth something because they're alive, like they just have value. So they go, I have too much worth to work for somebody else. So then my brain goes here. It goes, okay, so say you want to do something for yourself. You might get into a lot of people that I know want to create a side hustle and they want to do marketing or they want to do YouTube. They want to talk about something that they're passionate about. Okay, so they get successful there. And then they start to get advertisers. And the advertisers start to say, hey, man, we're paying you a lot, you're making good money. We really don't like some of the things you talk about. Yeah, it kind of goes against what we value as a brand. So maybe you could just not talk about that. You're not selling yourself anymore because you're doing what you love, but you were going to compromise at some point. So the selling your soul idea, you will always at some point compromise. I think anyone that's never compromised is sort of idealistic, or there's some very few cases of people actually succeeding while never compromising. Or you do something else where you become an entrepreneur, you create a product. Your product is very successful, you hire people, your company gets big, you report to shareholders, or you go public, and now you have a board to report to, and now you have all these people that you end up selling your soul. Again, it's a big cycle, and I think it's just the wrong way to talk about it. Clearly something has gone wrong at the company you work with, and you didn't get out of it when you should have, so you stayed. Now you're bitter and you're jaded, and now you say, I'm never doing that again. But I'm just like, what are you going to do it for? And I think everyone has these idealistic things in their head where they say, well, I'm going to do it for my family. I'm going to dedicate myself to my marriage or my family or my church or something like that. But in some way, you're going to have to, I think, sell it to something. And I'm curious if you've ever heard this, or what's the flaw in my logic? There's obviously a lot, because I know it's kind of obviously I'm missing a lot there, because people don't really mean their soul. And I think people that say that don't even really do any soul searching ever. It's just a phrase people say. But in my mind, I'm always thinking, like, you know how people say they put in their time? Like, at a certain age, I'm like, if I said that I'm 35, if I said that when I was 25, like, man, I'm done with this corporate stuff. I'm like, what have I done to even say that? Like, what gives me the right to say that I'm done, but all those other people, I'm above them. All those people that have to work or supporting a family or just trying to make ends meet, I'm better than them. And I think that's it's a triggering phrase to me because I go, well, I've met a lot of good people that have bought in to whatever company they're at. And I don't think less of them because they've decided to do that. But I think people feel like it's a superiority thing where they say, I'm not going to do that. But anyone that does, they've sold, I'm not a sellout. I'm authentic. I think it's just pretentious in some way. And I'd like to know if you're a candidate and you were to say that to a recruiter or to a manager and say, hey, look, I appreciate you reaching out. I'm no longer looking to be in this field anymore. I'm not going to sell my soul to blah, 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 academia, whatever anymore. What are you really saying with that? Are you saying that I'm going to choose something that is wholly for me and for nobody else, or a place that just treats me better? A lot of times I think it's just people saying, I need to be treated better as an employee, and this company, sector, job title, whatever, treats me like I'm a soulless cog in a machine, and thus I need to get out of it. So, and I think as an INTJ, we could even say something like this because we believe ourselves to be better than other people. Oh, following the rules or having a corporate structure, that's not for me. I'm a lone wolf. I'm better. I'm more sophisticated. I am so much more intelligent than most people. I can do my own thing. I'll never compromise. And then I look at those people that have said that and I'm like, bro, it's kind of lonely. It's not that fun to be so uncompromising, to be so, I will never do anything I don't want to do. To me, it just seems childish. It's like, so what, you're never gonna have kids or get married or follow the rules? Like you're just pure anarchy your whole life? Like this is where my mind goes with that. I'm like, you just think that you're better than everyone because you're worth more because you've just declared it to be so. And I wonder if it's a problem with society where we we listen to too many influencers that talk about how they did it on their own, how they worked 25 hours a day, 8 days a week, and they just did everything on their own. The story is always the same. It's like I was at this dead end job, boss treating me like crap. I decided I was going to get out of that. I wasn't ever going to put in one more hour of work for somebody else. Always going to work for myself. And I read those books. I'm like, yeah, man, let's do this. Never for somebody else. At a certain point, it comes back around because you're gonna be working for somebody else unless you create a drop shipping company or a company that's fully automated where you never have to be involved in it. But most people will eventually have to work for someone or to report to someone or to be responsible for people or to have to compromise something that they originally wanted to do. But now circumstances are different and they have to give up on one special part of their idealistic plan they had when they first started their venture. So this is one of those things as recruiters. I have a lot of things I'd want to talk about as it relates to personality type and my current role as a recruiter. But this one, I'm like, what is your soul worth? And that's the main question that I'm asking you all today. So, what do people mean by that? And what is it? What do you have to do to earn the right to say that? That's my question. Thanks for watching.